the biggest translation is it has made the sales cycle so much easier. Like that phone rings and people are seeing our Google reviews. It's almost they're no longer interviewing us, but we're interviewing them.
Hey, property management friends. Welcome to This Week in PM. I'm your host, Jeremy Pound, founder of RentScale and publisher of Strategic PM. Now, today, we've got the founders of HomeLadder here with me, and they just celebrated their 2-year anniversary of being a residential property manager in the Phoenix area. And they're going to tell you exactly how they got hundreds of Google reviews already this year, and how that actually helped them to land an 80-plus unit portfolio because of that online reputation. And in that deal, price was never even part of the discussion. And they have one of the most interesting social media marketing strategies in property management, and I'm excited to share it with you. So you're going to hear some great techniques that you could be using in your business, and you're going to have a lot of fun hearing from these founders. Plus, we've got the April Business Development Scoreboard for you. And Jen's going to give you a major update and some analysis on what we're seeing across the country when it comes to lead generation and inbound activity from prospective housing providers. So let's jump right in, and I'm going to send it over to Jen. But first, a quick word from one of our sponsors.
Hi there. Did you know that RentScale hosts one of the largest communities of property management sales professionals in North America? Well, my name is Reese Register, and I'm actually a previous BDM and currently a scale coach here at RentScale. We provide over 20 hours monthly of teaching and training and accountability to make sure that our BDMs are supercharging their sales business through inbound, outbound, and allbound. So if you're interested in learning more about supercharging your business, go over to rentscale.com. We'll be glad to schedule a consult and see how we can help you transform your business today.
Hey everyone, back at you with another Scale Club scoreboard update, this time for the month of April 2025. Now, when I was with Reese reporting out March, we were hopeful that we were going to see some really good numbers in April, and I can't wait to share with you what we've got. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit about something that we've heard from quite a few of our owners recently, and really just out there in the PM community overall. And that is, everyone is looking for more opportunity, and everyone is looking for higher quality leads that convert quickly and close fast. Man, that would be a dream. And if somebody had a perfect answer for that, I'm sure that they would be amazingly rich. However, we all know that the number of leads at the top of the buyer's pyramid has decreased. And we've seen that in our Scale Club community. The people who are ready to move forward and taking action today is significantly less than it was this time last year, but even 2 months ago in what was considered a slow season. So everybody is screaming for more leads. Everybody that is, except for the people who have implemented the all-bound approach. So what I want to remind property management companies of today is that there is no one answer when it comes to lead generation. There is no one solution that you should be implementing. So we have a lot of people that are saying they're shifting their budgets around and they're trying to add more into PPC and they're trying to add more into paid ads. And the truth is that you guys really need to have an all-bound approach when it comes to lead generation. And you will see that there are some newbies on top of our leaderboard for the month of April. And the people on top for the month of April, when everybody else is down and leads are down and overall volume is down, these people are up because they put in the all-bound approach. If you haven't heard us talk about the all-bound approach, we have webinars and different speeches and presentations on this. Just reach out and I'd be happy to send you some. But very briefly, the all-bound approach is when you've got inbound leads. These would be things like pay-per-click, Google SEO, maybe even PPC, maybe direct mail, anything that is inbound for your company. It's a lot more of a marketing function, if you will. Then we have outbound lead generation. This is things like stale listings for rent by owners, events, BNI groups, local celebrity stuff, networking on Bigger Pockets, building leads from that activity. And then we have what we call Nextbound, and that is who knows your next customer. That's working your referral agents, your 1031 exchange agents, your CPAs, your tax accountants, your real estate attorneys, all of those people that could know your next client, making sure that you're working those partnerships and developing really strong bonds with them so that when they know somebody, they're referring business to you. So if you've got all three of those things in place, that's when you're not going to struggle when everybody else is seeing a huge lead drop. And that was reflected heavily in this month's scoreboard. So without further ado, I want to present to you what we got for the month of April. So you will see that we've got Lancaster, Pennsylvania at 57 units. Believe it or not, that is not one big single family or multifamily unit that he signed. It's actually a lot of single family units, a few small multifamily units, but this business development manager just exploded this month. Then we've got Memphis, Tennessee at 48, Milwaukee, Wisconsin at 19, Pleasant Hill, California at 14, and a tie for fifth, Virginia Beach and Indianapolis, both at 10. All of those BDMs up for the month of April. And when everyone else is seeing a slowdown and a significant slowdown, these people actually were able to increase because they're doing something different. And if we look at who's on the top of the leaderboard and why, it's an all-bound approach. So a total of 291 doors in the month of April, down from the month of March, but also down in comparison to April 2024. If you want to go back and you want to view seasonal history, we have over 2 years of these monthly reports and data. So if you go to rentscale.com/scoreboard, you can find all of the scoreboards and check how you are comparatively with other property managers or comparatively seasonally. Average number of doors added across our community was 6, and top 50% of our community was down about 28% to just 8 doors. Even some of our top performers are having a little bit of challenge in this market. Biggest story right now, which I highlighted earlier, was the lead volume, down to 7 average leads per business development manager for the month of April. Oof, that's down 54% from March, which, by the way, was also significantly down. So this is way less lead volume than we want to see from any healthy property management company. So a lot of people have asked me why. Well, there's a lot going on in the economy. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of tariffs. You have to be working really hard. And here's the thing. Every lead you have is more and more valuable. So at the end of the day, when leads are really slow, you've got to be able to bump up conversions and you've got to be able to bump up outbound. So who do you have coaching you that's helping you get that conversion rate higher? And what new outbound strategies are you implementing as you're seeing things slow down on your inbound leads? Things to think about. If you guys need any help with that, we've done tons of webinars and tons of different things. Just because you are not a RentScale client doesn't mean we're not here to help you generate leads. So reach out. I'm happy to provide any resources that would be helpful to your company, RentScale client or not. Before I leave you guys today, I just want to reiterate how important it is to make sure that you have that all-bound approach. If you don't have that in now, when will you put it in? Will you wait until we see another slide like this? Will you wait until it gets worse before you say, okay, I got to do something? Or are you going to take the action now? Ask yourself what you need in order to be successful and go out and get those resources. And remember, the RentScale team is here to help you even if you're not a client of ours. So back to you, Jeremy.
All right, Travis, Brandon from Home Ladder. It's exciting to have you guys here today. Thanks so much for coming on. As I understand it, you just celebrated your 2-year anniversary. Congratulations, guys. You're about 460 doors and you're in the greater Phoenix area, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, great. Well, I know my interviews. The reason that I wanted to jump on is for a number of things, but you guys have done some amazing things in 2 years. I think people just hearing that 2 years, 460 doors, they're already saying, wow, those guys are moving fast. So the first thing I want to ask you is that if I was a prospect and I called you guys up, how would you introduce yourself as a property management company?
I would say first thing I say is we're local first. So Phoenix is our home market. It's where we're building our team. Everyone that works for us lives here locally, knows the valley well. Property management is our specialty, but real estate investment is really our passion. So that's what we're going to help you do, is invest in real estate and be successful at it.
Oh, great. I love that you use some insider terms there, like the Valley, that will really show that you're local. Who's an ideal client for you guys? Who are the people signing up with you?
We really prefer to work with the intentional investor, somebody that wants to build their wealth through real estate, believes in long-term appreciation, believes in cash flow, and also wants to take care of their properties and take care of their residents. That's our ideal client.
Great. And I just want to give a flash forward to something we're going to talk about with chaos and disorder. Who's not an ideal client for you?
A slumlord would be the not ideal client, right? Somebody who doesn't want to take care of their property, wants to Band-Aid fix everything, rent a property out as is in horrible condition. We know that attracts horrible tenants that we don't want to stick our team with. And we don't want our team to have a horrible experience with an owner where they're having to fight tooth and nail to get every repair done, every price reduction done.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of people can relate to that. One of the ways that you came on our radar for this interview is working with our team. We just saw you create a barrage of fantastic reviews. And then you were reporting back that the sales were getting easier and that the conversations were going more smoothly, in large part because of the reviews you were getting. So I don't have my notes exactly in front of me, but I think you added around 200 reviews very intentionally. Kind of want to walk us through what the thought process was there and how you did that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think let's start back when we founded HomeLadder. We knew from day one that reputation mattered and that your Google ranking is like first thing that most prospective owners will look at, and prospective tenants when they're considering where they want to live. So we started out with getting Google reviews. It was from day one we started getting Google reviews from our first clients, from our first tenants, just kept asking. But it was actually our rent scale coach, Reese, that lit a fire under our ass and told us we got to double down on that. We have to get a lot more of them. Some of our competitors here in the Valley have over 2,000 reviews, and we were sitting at, I think, 30 or 40 when we first met Reese. And he's like, you've got to get more reviews. So he actually gave us a quick cheat code. It was the Zappy cards, which are little cards with QR system. I don't know how it works, actually. I don't know how the technology works, but it's a little card that you can take around with you, and you can scan. Somebody can scan with their phone and give you an instant Google review. So we bought those, gave them to the team members. They started taking them to move-in orientations, meeting clients, meeting vendors. Everybody we interact with, we were asking for reviews. So that helped to steadily grow our reviews. But then we got another challenge from Reese just recently. He said, hey, you guys are doing great on reviews, but I think you can do better. So Brandon and I discussed one weekend, and we said, let's come up with a contest for our team where whoever gets the most reviews can get an extra bonus for doing that. So we started off the month and released the competition to the team, and it was just amazing. Like overnight, we saw, I don't know, there was 50 probably in that first weekend, right? 50 reviews that came in. Just
wow.
We weren't, I mean, obviously with kicking off a competition like that, like sometimes the team takes it seriously and sometimes they don't. And this one, like, not everybody actually, there was like 2 people in particular that took it really seriously in the beginning, and they were just like back and forth really going at it. And we just continued to bring it up every single team meeting with the leaderboard. This is where you're at. And if you were at the bottom, you were probably going to hear some words from us. So that, like, people just naturally started getting more and more competitive. And towards the end, it was insane. Like, my mind was blown about how many reviews the team was able to get. And I feel like we really went about it the right way, building it into the company culture. Obviously, there's a lot of automated systems out there that you can put into your processes and just ask for reviews on an automated basis. But if you build it into the culture where your team is actually asking for the reviews, it just becomes second nature. And every positive interaction they have, they ask for the review. And yeah, so we feel like this is really the good way to grow them organically long term.
So I should clarify. So Travis and Brandon, I know this. You guys are the owners of the company, but it sounds like you didn't get a lot of these reviews yourself. You actually systematized this, like we always talk about, and you got your team to go get them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, definitely Travis and I, like when we first started HomeLadder for at least the first 6 months, it was just him and I doing everything, literally, like interacting with owners, residents, vendors, doing the back end accounting. Like we were doing everything. And so we did get quite a few reviews in that time frame. But like Travis said, we kind of stagnated once we brought the team on. We hadn't really thought about making it part of the team culture. He pushed us on that. And yeah, we've been able to triple the amount of reviews that him and I got.
That's great. And I think that I want to kind of talk about how you did that before we talk about the impact of that, because I heard some really tactical stuff there, and I'm thinking the listeners are hearing that and they're saying, wait, hold on, what did you just say you did? So the biggest highlight that I heard that you just said is you were taking advantage of in-person meetings. And, just coming back from a big conference, with you guys, and every time we do that, people just seem to take action in face-to-face environments more than they do in email. And, I'm guilty as anybody. You log on, you have all these emails or you have all these text messages, and it's very easy to say, I'll get to that. But it sounds like you really took advantage of, face-to-face contact to get these driven home. So just elaborate on that a little bit for us and what those conversations look like, because I think that's a real key here that I don't want to bury.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's something that we've instituted from week one of HomeLadder. The second we started bringing on a team. So every single Tuesday, we have our entire team into the office. We provide lunch and we sit down for at least an hour and just go over action items, right? What were our to-dos from last week's team meeting? Let's make sure those got resolved. What are the high-level items we need to discuss as a team? Like a lot of learning opportunities there for us to discuss and go over. And for us, like you said, most of our work is done remotely. You don't really get to interact with people too much. But when you sit down and hear the tone in somebody's voice and where they're coming from, their personal experiences, you really start to make a personal connection with them. And then that email, that text message doesn't come across the wrong way, right? So we really feel like that's big with the culture, to not just resolve things as a team and learn from them, but also to get to know each other better as people and working together.
What do you think that, give me an example of what that conversation looked like. So you're meeting a tenant, you're meeting a vendor. How do you break the ice and ask for the review?
I think the move-in orientation, that was one of our differentiators. We're actually meeting residents at the house on move-in day, exchanging keys, walking them through the house, showing them all the key features about the property, where to change out the air filter, where the electric panel is, where the main water shutoff is. So we're providing value first. We're rather than making them come down to the office with their money and get keys like the way that a lot of people have gone to do is, or completely remote. We believe strongly that we should meet them in person and start that relationship from day one. Happy residents will equal healthy investments for the long run. So it's important that we form that relationship from day one. So yeah, we meet them at the property, walk them through, deliver value first. And then at the end of it, we ask them a couple of questions like, hey, how did you find this home? What did you really like about this home? What did you like about the neighborhood? Like, what drew you to this property? And then that's just a natural progression into, hey, would you mind giving us a review and letting other potential residents know of what HomeLadder did for you and how we made the move-in process simple and straightforward? Yeah.
I think this is great. It's a good reminder. I mean, if you're running a healthy property management business, at some point you probably have more tenants than you have owners. And I think a lot of people think reviews and they think, oh, I'm limited to my owner pool. And you mentioned vendors already, and now you mentioned tenants. So it's great. So you're thinking much bigger, which is the essence of strategy, which is fantastic. And I love that you were already, like, Reese found an area where you were already strong, and he encouraged you to double down on your strengths instead of go work on a weakness. Like he really took you in there. Are you getting reviews from owners as well? Is there a different technique for doing that?
Like Travis said, it's all about delivering that value first. I equate it a lot to like what we learned being in part of the Owner Scale Club. Like if you have a sales call, somebody asks you a question, what's the price, right? That's the first thing that they're going to ask a new property management company. You don't want to provide that price until you've given them some value, right? So same sort of thing with asking for a review. We oftentimes with our owners, like we're going to sign them up. Let's get their property turned, get it rented. Once we've delivered that value, hey, we've got a tenant in your home paying rent. If you're happy with the service we provided, here's a link. Please give us a Google review. And most owners are excited to do so at that time, right?
Yeah, that's great. So what's that magic moment when is there like a point in your process where you're like, task 8 gets done, then I ask for the review, or is it just a little more gut?
Sometimes it can be gut for sure. Generally speaking, it's after the move-in. You want to do it quickly after the move-in because you never know. Sometimes there's going to be a few service requests rolling in right after that. So that's the sweet spot.
Do want to look for that peak experience point. Even when you ask for, I would say the same thing as a review. When you ask for any referrals, you do want to be looking for that kind of peak experience point when you ask for that. So good. There's a little intuition there.
another easy moment for us to ask for it is we've been doing portfolio blueprint reviews with our high net worth clients, the ones that have a portfolio, the intentional investors, and that Brandon and I personally spend an hour with them and go through their portfolio and talk about the cash flow, the appreciation, different options they can do for refinancing, getting insurance quotes, all kinds of things to help improve the financial viability of their properties. And at the end of that call, that's when we'll typically ask, hey, like, what do you think about our services? What can we do better? What do you like about it? Would you mind sharing that with the public out there? So that's another point of asking for reviews with owners.
Well, it's perfect too, because, you know, that's full circle to the beginning of our conversation where you said, we do property management, but in real estate investing is our passion. And that is your unique differentiation. And anytime you say I'm different, you really want to have some things that you actually do that are different, right? And so the fact that you're having those blueprint reviews with your owners is amazing. How are those received, and how are you inviting people to those? Do you tell them right up front, when you get to month X, we're going to do this? Or do you just kind of reach out to them? Do you call them? Do you email? What does it look like setting those up?
We've taken a couple of different approaches. In the very beginning, when it was just Travis and I doing everything, we had just reached out to each owner personally and invited them to schedule with us. Now we've kind of moved towards, we're sending out videos to our owners, giving them market updates with what's going on in the local Phoenix market here, and just inviting them to schedule with us. Hey, we just did one at the end of the year. This is a wrap up on 2024. This is what we've learned, what we're focusing on 2025. If you'd like to meet with us, please schedule time on our calendar. So now we're being less invasive about it, allowing them to decide whether or not they want to schedule with us.
And I really like something you integrated into the onboarding process too now. So for new clients, as part of our onboarding process, we do the handoff call where we're the sales guys. So we're their point of contact as they're signing the PMA. And once they're signed, then we hand them off to a property manager like most companies do. But to make that simpler or smoother, Brandon and I have a call with them where we introduce them to the property manager and we walk them through next steps, what the relationship's going to look like. And then Brandon integrated into that conversation, hey, just so you know, like down the road, you're going to be having another call with us where we do a portfolio blueprint review. So we'd love to see you there and hear how the last 9 months have gone for you. So
that's great. Yeah. And I think that's just going to endear them to you so that when, somebody calls them and says, hey, I can shave a point off of your management fee or something like that, they're going to say, yeah, no, I don't want to go through all of that relationship building again, that information knowledge exchange. I do feel like that's a moat. When you understand their portfolio and they believe that you understand both the portfolio and their personality and their goals, what it's like. None of us really want to have to rebuild that over a couple $100, right?
Yeah, completely agree. Obviously, we're having these conversations when we first onboard them as well, right? Like, what are your short and long-term goals with this property? So we can notate that. And when we follow up in the conversation in a year, like, let's see, did you meet these goals? Are you still on track? Have things shifted?
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thanks for that sidebar. We may have a whole nother conversation about that because I think this is like I said, this is a moat that just not enough people are building around their businesses. So love to hear you guys are doing that. One of the things that Reese has definitely told me is you guys are up for anything. If you think it's going to work, you think it's going to make the client's life better, you think it's going to make your team's life better, it's going to make you more money. It's like, let's talk about it. Let's see if this is going to be a good fit, which is great. And I think as the industry is expanding right now, which we're all seeing, we're all going to the same events. There's just more people. There's going to be innovation, which is great. And it's great to see people like you guys saying, hey, our product is going to look a little different 2 years from now. So we better figure out what that's going to look like and learn those tools, which I've really seen you guys do, which I think everybody should be doing right now. Just want to put a pin in the reviews because you did such a great job with that. So right now, just off the cuff, how many reviews do you think you have on Google and what do you think your rating is?
It's just under 450. Do you know the exact number?
Last I looked, I thought it was 426, but
426.
And 5 stars.
5 stars, yeah. It's going to take several 1-star reviews to drop us down from that.
You already have 5. Well, that's great. You guys are in sales, so anything between 250 and 450 is almost 450, right? That's just the way we say it. What do you think? Was there like a number where you felt the turning point? Because I know Reese came to you and said, hey, I'm looking at, and I love that he held up a mirror and he said, you're looking at your reviews only, but the consumer, the prospect, is going out and they're just looking at 5 or 6 companies. And he felt like he had to challenge you on that. Do you feel like there was a number where you're like, hey, I feel something different, like we're getting a turn here? Or was it just, there was no breaking point and it was just one by one?
I felt like once we crossed 300, what it did for us is it allowed us to show up in the top 3 results in the map pack, which if anybody searches Google, they know the map pack is it's below the sponsored results. That's the best place you can possibly be to get organic calls. So our goal always was to appear in the map pack for Gilbert, Chandler, Mesa property management that's closest to our office. And one of the key ranking factors for that is Google reviews. So a lot of our competitors, some of them that have been in the business for 15, 20 years, they had like 250 reviews. So we're like, we have to get over that at least, and so that we can outrank them in the map pack was our primary focus.
That's a great share. Did you do a lot of other search engine optimization, or was it just kind of the basics, but then it was really the reviews that were the determining factor for you?
We've definitely done some other SEO work, but for the map pack rankings, Google reviews are one of the top ranking factors, other than the location of your office, which you can't really change unless you want to move. So, yeah.
Well, I've always said this, I used to be in SEO. Google is a popularity contest. And so it makes total sense that if everybody's talking about you good or bad right now, and by the way, that what they care about is the reviews because that's their product, then you're going to move up. So that's a great share. And I really appreciate, because, sometimes you learn these lessons on a technology like Google in like, say, 2018, and you wonder if they still work today. And so I love that in 2025, like it definitely worked for you, because it is a strategy and it's going to work until it doesn't work. We should just run that play as much as we can run it, and I'm guessing you guys know this. Google reviews are never done, right? So if we had this call in 2 years and you're like, yeah, we did that thing, Jeremy, but we're done with, we had enough reviews. We're good. Google is not going to play very, very nicely with that. So, I want to kind of transition. I love that. My favorite thing about this is the way you scaled it. So it wasn't just you guys staying an extra 30 minutes every night and calling everybody and begging for reviews. You kind of baked it into the work that you are doing. You talked to your employees about it. You gamified it, for lack of a better term. You made a contest. So, watching you guys grow so quickly, one of the hardest things about a small business is, how do you kind of maintain that culture? What do you set in the culture? Because every company has a culture, right? It's either intentional or non-intentional by default. So what were some of the things that you would share to somebody else that wants to create a culture where you guys went off for whatever reason to a conference in Guatemala for the next 3 weeks, everybody would still be getting reviews? Walk us through how you've kind of institutionalized that with the team.
Honestly, it's just interacting with them on a routine basis so that they know our preferred style of management and they can adopt that, right? So we mentioned team meetings every single Tuesday where we're getting together and going over specific scenarios and how they handled it, what we could take away from that, do better next time, or congratulating them on doing a great job on something in particular. So I think a lot of it is just a constant feedback loop for them. Work hard, play hard. Like, we really believe in accountability. We do definitely hold our team accountable, and obviously not every conversation is rosy, but when you pair that with knowing each other as people, I feel like it hits home a little bit more. So we also, on a quarterly basis, we get out and we do something fun together. This most recent quarter, we went out in Scottsdale. We did a food tour where we got to go and sample some food and drinks at some local restaurants. We've done things like axe throwing, go-kart racing. So it's important to us to just get out and have fun without talking about work at all. Just hang out as people. And then volunteering as well. On a quarterly basis, we get out and we get back to our local community and volunteer. So I think a lot of it is just interacting on a consistent basis and knowing. Mess that up.
No, that's good.
No, that's great. I want to ask a little more specifically, just because of the narrow focus of what we're talking about today with the reviews. What was that conversation like with the team? What did you sell them on why reviews mattered to them? You told me about the leaderboard, which is awesome. And as you answer the question, I want to know what that scoreboard, what that looked like. Was that just like a giant poster in the office? Was it just something you guys talked about? But I think people watching this are saying, I love this. Like, what's some like actual, tactical steps that they can be taking?
Well, you can do the carrot where you're paying them and offering extra compensation. But you could also use the stick. We use public shaming. Like the out of the gate, a couple people were just not engaged with it, so they got publicly shamed in the company meeting, and the people that were succeeding got praised. So that was a very good motivator, and it got people lit a fire under their asses to get out there and get some Google reviews so that they could compete with their coworkers. So yeah.
Yep. We like to keep things simple. So our weekly meetings, it's just a Google Doc, right? So they can see well ahead of time, like we're just tracking by week with the team meeting and inputting the numbers. So it's in real time. They know they're looking at that agenda, what they're going to have to talk about when they come in.
This is totally off the cuff, but I don't know if you guys have ever read The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, but the story of how Giuliani turned around New York City, like in the crime spree of the 90s, was, is very lionized, but it really came down to the broken window effect, right? Like if the neighborhood had broken windows, people would commit crimes. So they started arresting people for small offenses like jumping the subway turnstile, and they would leave them there. I'm not advocating for this, but they would leave them there as like a public shaming. And then they got all the police chiefs together from all the precincts. And if you weren't hitting your numbers, they would make you stand up, and you would almost be embarrassed in front of your peers. It's very extreme, but that was a very extreme situation. Any of us growing up as a kid watching RoboCop, hearing all the news, they had to do something. But it's really this unbelievable parallel how it's all the little things that actually instill change, right? And so we are social creatures, no matter what. We do that in communities, and our companies are these little social, ecospheres, for lack of a better term. And they're looking left and right, and they're last week you got 3 reviews, this week you got 9 reviews. That's broken window effect, And it's public shaming. I've said that I get a review for 3 weeks in a row, and it's the 4th week, and I still don't have any. I think that these lessons, these laws are so copy and pasteable to so many things, but they aren't instantly gratifiable. There's no immediate return on investment, and they're counter to what people want you to do. And so I would just say, overall, that was a long way of saying, I think it took a lot of courage and focus for you guys to do that, to actually create a culture that is doing this. And then now, hopefully, showing them the result is going to then buy you credibility the next time you guys feel like you have to make a major cultural bet on that. So that is my take on it. You guys can agree or disagree, which I think is awesome. But how does the team feel about it? What is it's easy for you guys as owners to come on here and say, this was a great idea. It's making our business better. We're also the first point of contact, still in the sales role. How is it, illuminated, or has it changed the culture at all within the company for the frontline employees?
They're asking us when we're going to do the next competition. So that's a good sign. They really leaned into it. I was amazed at the amount of effort we got out of it. So yeah, I think it brought a higher level of engagement from the team, and it's up to us now to keep that going long term. Great. Good stuff. And for us, I'd say the biggest translation is it has made the sales cycle so much easier. That phone rings and people are seeing our Google reviews. It's almost, they're no longer interviewing us, but we're interviewing them. That's exactly what you want to be doing, and that's what marketing does. So any tangible numbers on lead flow that you've seen? Where it's hey, our lead flow has gone up by 10, 15%, or is it kind of the same lead flow? It's just that they're way better clients that are coming in.
I think the organic lead flow for the specific keywords that we're looking at, I look at that on a daily basis. That's tripled actually since we started focusing on the Google Map and the Google reviews to get there. So yeah, triple the number of leads from organic sources. So yeah.
Yes, and that reminds me to ask that all leads are not created equal. I did hear a rumor that you showed up on the leaderboard in a big way recently. You guys want to share the story about a specific deal that you guys worked on that was pretty transformational for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a call from a client who found us on Google, had read our reviews, and was amazed. So the call that I took was just that she was having troubles with her current property manager. She was getting gouged on maintenance. She had found out that they were running all of their maintenance through an in-house company. She felt like she was getting gouged on prices. So it's a fantastic call of just listening to all the trouble she'd been having with her current management company and identifying that that's actually a lot of our core philosophies, how our company is structured to avoid taking advantage of our owners when it comes to maintenance. So we connected on a very personal level there, was able to provide solutions to those pain points. And she very quickly decided to bring her 84 doors over to us, which was a huge sign up, definitely our biggest single client sign up to date.
Congratulations. 84 doors when you're, in the, several hundred is a huge deal percentage wise. And was she a strong negotiator? Did she want to customize the whole deal? Was she a total nightmare?
Absolutely not. I was really amazed. Like that was the initial, we had the first call went amazing, but Travis and I talked about it afterwards. Like, okay, well, get ready for the email to negotiate on pricing and pick our PMA apart. We figured it was going to get redlined, and obviously that, you would have a lot of leverage coming in with 84 doors, but we had the conversation, sent over our management agreement, did not give any sort of price breaks on anything. We did full retail pricing, and she did respond with a few questions, but she didn't have any red lines. She just wanted to clarify a few things on the management agreement. Took a note out of your guys' playbook, actually, and had just responded to those with a bomb video so I could show her the portal and go over specific things with her. And that was it. Like, she responded, okay, I'm ready to go. She signed the management agreement later that week, and we literally never had a single conversation about reducing any level of pricing.
Amazing. And just coincidentally, all 84 were easily in your geographical area. It was like a tight portfolio.
Yeah, yep. It's that fits ideally into what we already have going on. So yeah, and most of them are leased up for. So it's we're still working on the transition. We actually take over next week, so we're getting everything in a row. We'll be down on site a lot of these properties later this week and early next week.
So I like to keep it simple. Why aren't you just getting one of those every month?
That's hopefully our goal by the end of the year.
Like laughingly, that's why you're in the game. That's why you do marketing. That's why you do reviews, because you don't know when those people will show up. Like, as much as we like to feel like we've got our hands on everything and we can just make it happen, sometimes you just have to do everything right. And what is the saying about luck? It's like preparation meets opportunity, right? And so you guys were prepared. The opportunity presented itself, and you guys were a no-brainer, which was amazing. And that is, really one of the hardest lessons to instill on a brand new entrepreneur who just wants instant gratification. So I think it was great. If I'm checking my notes, I want you guys to check me on this. This seems crazy. It sounds like you got clear on who you wanted to help. You built this service to best serve those people. You did the work. You had those people then share their success stories, and then you basically just repeated the flywheel over and over again. Am I getting that? Am I being too simplistic here? But it sounds like that was the recipe that you guys used.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Seems like what every business should be doing, right? I mean, it's just crazy. But it's no hacks. You had amazing tactics along the way, like using the cards that you mentioned, and you showed up. But the fundamentals are sound. You knew who your client was. You made sure that you built your service to best serve that person. You executed on that service, and then you reminded them that you were executing on that service, and you asked them to tell others about it, and you guys tell others about it. And sometimes I think we just way overlook those fundamentals because we want to play with the new AI tools. We want to do all this new stuff, and we just forget about those fundamentals that always work in a service business. So I think that's amazing that you guys are doing that. Anything you want to add to that? Because I want to be oversimplifying your success.
No, I think that's very well said. Like, we believe in simplicity. We don't want to overcomplicate things. It's just create a system of accountability and be consistent with it.
Amazing. All right. Well, what's next, guys? Here we are, early 2025. The world is a crazy place. Technology is coming left and right. The economy is, either on fire. Either way you look at it, good, bad, we'll find out. Things are amazing. More people are investing in real estate. I'm stoked about where we are right now, to be honest with you. What's next for you guys?
I think there's three main things that are top of mind for us. One is Yelp. So we've conquered Google, or for now, like we've got a good start on Google, but Yelp we've never had a presence on. So we just signed up for our profile a couple of weeks ago. I believe that might be our next contest, is let's start building our credibility on Yelp, just like we have on Google. So that's going to be one of our approaches. The second
I'll be
one,
honest, I didn't see that one coming, but keep going. I did not see that one coming.
The second one is the accidental landlords. Like, our phone still rings off the hook with accidental landlords, people that are faced with the rent versus sell decision. So I feel like that's going to be our market for the next year or two, potentially longer. So we're really focused on serving that client and knowing that it's temporary, knowing they probably won't want the portfolio blueprint review out of the gate, but hopefully we can show them the value of that and convince them that real estate is a great long-term asset to hold. And then the third thing is brokerage. To your point, like, we've got CNBC going on the big screen right here. We're watching the stock market turmoil that's going on. It's I have a feeling it's going to be a buyer's market here soon for the real estate market again, and we can finally go to our investors and say, hey, we've got potential properties in Phoenix that cash flow and will make great long-term investments. So we're going to focus on that and make sure that we've got the flywheel in place so that we can handle volume on that and hopefully grow investors' portfolios.
Well, if you're putting together an investor list and you're sending out deals like that, put me on there. I think that's amazing. You guys are awesome operators. I believe in the market. And I also know a little bit about the market you're in. And it was so hot that I'm sure that everybody kind of hit the brakes and they were letting some of the air come out of the market. So I think those are great. So some of those I saw coming, some I didn't, which is good. And so I want to key in on the accidental landlord more than anything. One of the things that I've really enjoyed watching you guys do is put yourself out there. You've got the YouTube channel, you've got some social media. I think anytime we meet clients, we can almost instantly recognize some of their skill sets. And you guys are very likable. I will never say this in public. You're really, articulate, you know what you're doing, but you're not afraid to make it fun. And I think that, real estate investing is such a serious thing. And I can Google, NOI, right? And I can find a black and white answer and it may not resonate with me. I can, kind of like go sign up for somebody's, 7 reasons self-managers should work with a professional manager. And I may read it and it doesn't stick with me. But you guys have this fun stick of chaos and disorder. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you guys to kind of share the vision for that. And then, is it made any traction for you? Because I think this could be the way that you really focus on the accidental landlord. So tell the group what this is.
So chaos and disorder are 2 fictional characters that we came up with. They're probably the worst nightmare tenants that a landlord could ever experience. Brandon plays chaos, I play disorder. And we just we show different scenarios that we've encountered as property managers over the years, different situations that bad tenants can create for landlords. And we put that on film for our potential clients out there to not only relate to, but also laugh at. Like, your first question is, what does our ideal customer look like? And our ideal customer likes to have fun. Like, real estate you can have a lot of bad news in real estate. So it's important that you have a mindset that you can bring humor into situations whenever possible and make things a little bit more lighthearted than they might seem otherwise. So yeah, chaos and disorder are characters designed to elicit the phone calls, basically, from potential owners that are scared of getting tenants like that. We've got proven processes and systems in place to help avoid tenants like that. So we think that's great value we can bring to landlords out there.
Has it worked at all for you? Have you had any calls where they're like, I can't believe I'm calling the guys in overalls with the bourbon bottle? Like, has it created any fun stories?
It has. We definitely got a few easy signups as a result of that, but more in the industry so far, right? Like, we've got a lot of reactions from our fellow property managers within NARPM. But yes, it has translated to signed doors where people are appreciate the fact that we have a sense of humor. And honestly, like, the very first one we put those out, like, Travis and I had a lot of trepidation. Like, are we really gonna put this out there? We were worried, like, is this a reputational risk? Are we doing more harm than good here? But like, we went back to our original focus on HomeLetter. Like, this is a lifestyle company for us. Like, this is our baby. We want to have fun. Like, obviously we take it very seriously, and we're in this to provide a life for our team and for ourselves. And it's a great service to our owners, our tenants, our vendors, but also we want to have fun along the way. And that really resonates with us. If you're an owner out there that sees these advertisements, like, oh, these guys are completely unprofessional, I would never work with them, that's totally fine. You're clearly not the best fit for us. Not everybody is. So yeah, we've really leaned into it then. What are we on? 7, 8? We've done 7 of them now.
Yeah.
Well, I love them. And I think you're crystallizing the fears that people have, which is a great marketing strategy. But I'll also say this, guys, nobody wrote any business books about people that played it safe and did exactly what 10 people did before them. Because you know what? It's just, one, it doesn't always work. And 2, it's pretty boring when it does. So I'm loving chaos and disorder. Love that you guys are taking risks. For the people watching that is just as in love with you guys as I am, how can they follow you? Where can they see what HomeLetter is doing?
I'd say follow us on YouTube. That's where all of our videos go, but we're also on all the other social media platforms. So LinkedIn,
Instagram,
Facebook.
Yeah,
we're all over.
And, knowing our audience, if I'm an investor trying to build a, multinational location real estate investment, how can I get in on the deals that you might be bringing to people soon?
Go to our website, homeladder.com. We've got a newsletter sign up on there where you can get the deals delivered directly to your inbox if you're interested.
Great answer. I was so hoping that you would actually have an answer to that, because I think every property manager should. So many don't, which is amazing. Well, Travis, Brandon, this has been fantastic. We spent a lot of time together. I really enjoy what you guys are doing. You guys are true entrepreneurs in my mind. You are actually taking what you know works well and adding the icing on the cake. And I think that's a recipe for success. So really appreciate getting to watch the journey.
Thanks for your time, Jeremy.
All right. We'll see you soon. This episode is brought to you by Strategic PM, the magazine for property management entrepreneurs and executives. If you go online to strategicpm.com today, you're going to find an entire website full of content written about your industry and by your peers. And it's completely free to sign up. Just go ahead and click on the create a free account right in the upper right-hand corner. When you click on that, not only can you create a digital account, but you can actually add your mailing address, and we will send you a free 1-year subscription of the print magazine, which will be showing up in your offices every single quarter. So if you take a look inside the magazine, what you're going to see is that we are focused on growth. We've got 5 pillars of Strategic PM: vision, strategy, culture, marketing, and experience. You're going to be seeing some great high-class content from some of the best thought leaders in the industry talking about the matters that matter the most to your business. So sign up for free today at strategicpm.com and look for the magazine in your office. So if you want to hear more great stories from founders like Brandon and Travis, or you always want to know what the newest techniques are that people are experimenting with and finding success in the industry, or you just want the business development market leaderboard updates, you should follow us on Strategic PM, wherever you like to follow content. We're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can subscribe on Spotify. You're going to get the latest news and be able to check the pulse of property management today and see all of the latest articles that we're publishing in Strategic PM. So make sure that you're subscribed and maybe even send this to a friend. And most importantly, we look forward to seeing you at an upcoming industry event in person. So let's check on the event calendar and show you what's coming up. Next event is May 21st to the 23rd, where RentFind is having their user conference in Tampa, Florida. Next, June 11th to 13th, it's the NARPM Southern States Conference. This year, it's in Birmingham, Alabama, and Jen and I will actually be speaking at that event. The next event is the one we've been talking most about. It's our event, the Strategic PM Summit, and it's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on August 21st and 22nd. So if you haven't checked that out, go over to strategicpm.com and look for the summit link, and maybe you can come and hear some of these founders and some other speakers and generate ideas to add more revenue to your property management company. And last on this docket, September 9th to 11th, we've got the NARPM Florida State Chapter Conference. This year, it's in Hutchinson Island, Florida. And again, Jen and I will be speaking at that one as well. So we've got a lot of opportunities to meet you in person. We look forward to seeing you out there. Thanks for subscribing. Follow us when we come back. And that is what's happening this week in PM.